Daniel was the last of 5 siblings in the Okafor family, yet he never truly felt like a part of it. Born into a middle-class Nigerian home, his parents openly favored his elder brothers and sisters, showering them with attention and love while he was left to fend for himself. Whether it was school fees, new clothes, or even a warm meal, Daniel always got the leftovers. His father saw him as a burden, and his mother barely acknowledged his existence, treating him as though he were invisible. His siblings followed suit, making his childhood a lonely and painful experience. Despite the coldness at home, Daniel possessed a fire within him. He excelled in school, using the classroom as an escape from his harsh reality. While his siblings took their privileges for granted, he worked twice as hard, studying under streetlights when the power went out. His hunger for knowledge became his shield, and though the world ignored him, he promised himself he would one day make them all see his worth. By the time Daniel turned 16, he had already made up his mind he needed to leave home. The neglect had turned into outright hostility, and he knew that if he stayed any longer, he would never become anything more than the shadow his family had cast over him. But he had no money, no connections, and nowhere to go. His only asset was his mind, and he decided to use it. Daniel began taking on small tutoring jobs, helping younger students in the neighborhood with their studies. He saved every penny he earned, skipping meals just to put something aside for the day he would walk away. He also started applying for scholarships, sending applications to schools across the country, hoping someone would see the potential that his family refused to acknowledge. And then, one day, the letter came, a full scholarship to a prestigious university in Lagos. It was his ticket to a new life. Lagos was nothing like the quiet town Daniel had known. The streets were alive with people, opportunity, and danger. But to him, it was freedom. He arrived with nothing but a small suitcase, a tattered notebook, and a burning desire to prove himself. His scholarship covered tuition, but he still needed to fend for himself. He took up multiple jobs, tutoring, working at a local bookstore, even doing odd cleaning jobs, just to survive. It was not easy. Some nights, he slept hungry, and on others, exhaustion threatened to break him. But every struggle fueled his ambition. He made it a point to be the best in his class, earning the attention of professors and influential business mentors who saw his drive. One of them, a wealthy entrepreneur named Mr. Adeyemi, took an interest in him, offering him guidance and access to powerful networks. For the first time in his life, Daniel had someone who believed in him. Under Mr. Adeyemi's mentorship, Daniel learned the art of business. While still in university, he started his first venture, a digital marketing agency aimed at helping small businesses establish their brands online. It was a risky move, but Daniel was determined to make it work. He spent countless hours researching, networking, and convincing businesses to take a chance on him. His persistence paid off. Within a year, his agency had secured multiple clients, generating enough income for him to move out of his tiny hostel and rent a decent apartment. With every success, his confidence grew. He reinvested every dime back into the business, expanding his services and hiring a small team. Before long, his agency was competing with some of the biggest names in the industry. By the time Daniel graduated, his company was already making waves in the Nigerian tech space. But he wasn't satisfied. He wanted more. He saw how foreign investors were pouring money into African startups, yet many local entrepreneurs lacked the funding to bring their ideas to life. That's when he had an idea: why not start a venture capital firm dedicated to supporting young African entrepreneurs like himself? Taking another bold risk, Daniel used his savings and secured investments from some of the contacts he had made through Mr. Adeyemi. He launched the Future Growth Capital, a firm focused on funding promising startups. At first, many doubted him. He was young, barely 25, with no background in investment banking. But Daniel had something stronger: vision and resilience. He worked tirelessly, proving himself with every successful investment. Within 3 years, Future Growth Capital became one of the leading venture capital firms in Africa. Daniel had turned his painful past into fuel for his success, and it paid off immensely. He made strategic investments in tech startups, e-commerce platforms, and real estate, all of which brought him immense wealth. His name became synonymous with success, and the media hailed him as one of Nigeria's youngest billionaires. But with wealth came new challenges. The same family that had once neglected him suddenly reappeared, showering him with love and seeking favors. His father, who had once called him worthless, now spoke of him with pride. His siblings, who had ignored him, suddenly wanted to reconnect. Daniel faced a dilemma: should he forgive them or turn his back as they had done to him? With great success came great scrutiny. As Daniel's influence grew, so did the voices of his critics. Some questioned his rapid rise, suggesting foul play, while others accused him of abandoning his roots. The media dissected his every move, and rival business figures attempted to tarnish his reputation. Instead of lashing out, Daniel used the criticism as fuel. He remained transparent in his dealings, proving time and again that his success was built on merit, not manipulation. He granted exclusive interviews, sharing his story openly and inspiring young entrepreneurs to persevere through adversity. Slowly, the negative voices faded, replaced by admiration and respect. Daniel was not content with merely maintaining his achievements; he wanted to expand. He ventured into the world of technology, launching an innovative fintech company that revolutionized financial transactions across Africa. His platform provided easier access to banking services for the unbanked, empowering millions with financial freedom. His fintech venture grew at an astonishing rate, attracting global investors. He secured strategic partnerships with Silicon Valley firms, bridging the gap between African entrepreneurs and the global tech industry. His vision was no longer just a dream, it had become a movement. Now in his 60s, Daniel sat in the garden of his mansion, watching his son play. The boy had no idea of the hardships his father had faced, and that was precisely what Daniel had worked for, to break the cycle of pain and create a legacy of love and empowerment. As he reflected on his life, he felt nothing but gratitude. He had turned his suffering into strength, his struggles into opportunities. The world had once ignored him, but he had proven that the neglected child could rise, not just for himself, but for millions of others. His story was no longer just his own, it was a testament to the power of resilience, vision, and the unbreakable spirit of a determined heart.